that is now bringing it on board. Don't forget, it was also a time when, we had very scarce resources, and of course, it was actually expected that the president would actually use the limited resources to do, to prosecute things that are very, very important and germane. But of course, the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy was created, and AGO-IWOYE was actually appointed minister of that ministry. And of course, the mandate of the ministry was to institutionalize marine and blue economy as an important pillar for economic sustenance and growth, diversification, having due regards to ecosystem. Now, quickly, let me tell you the vision of the ministry as well: to position Nigeria as a premier maritime nation by utilizing the potentials of its blue economy to diversify revenue, assure sustainable development, and cultivate environmental stewardship. Now, today on the program, we are going to be looking at the prospects of the blue economy in the emerging world. Now, one of the reasons why President Bola Tinubu created was to diversify our economy, because he believed so much that there are a lot of potentials really in that sector. So we are going to be looking at it, and of course, since 2023 till now, what have we been able to achieve? What have we been able to do? What background or groundwork have we been able to, lay, so that we can begin to reap the benefits really inherent in this sector? We have in the studio to do justice to this topic Professor BAMIDELE BADEJO. He is a professor of geography. It's a pleasure having you in the studio with us this morning.
Good morning. And thank you for the privilege of being here with you.
It is really our privilege. I'm not alone in the studio. Charity, my colleague, together we are going to be taking on the professor. Charity.
Okay, Professor Badejo, you're welcome to the studio once again. And Professor Badejo is a former commissioner for transportation in Lagos State and a professor of geography from the Olabisi Onabanjo University here in Ogun State. And we want to look at the blue economy, ocean resources. You have been in that sector for a while, and we know that you have experience on what the blue economy really means and what you think these resources will bring to Nigeria. Do you think Nigeria and Nigerians are ripe to that level of using ocean resources to develop our economy?
Thank you very much. Once again, good morning, and good morning to our viewers. You see, the issue of blue economy has its own dimensions. The first thing we need to ask ourselves is, what is blue economy? And why blue economy? And why should it be of interest to Nigeria, or even of interest to Ogun State, or the littoral states in the southern part of Nigeria? Blue economy is about taking advantages of the ocean resources for the purpose of taking advantage of the resources of the oceans. When I say resources, it goes beyond mineral resources, aquaculture, ecotourism, waterfront infrastructure development, and so on. So blue economy is of greater dimension than maritime transportation.
Okay.
Maritime transportation is predominantly about international shipping and exchange of commerce and trade. But when we now bring in blue economy, you have widened the frontier of maritime transportation, because maritime transportation strive with the use of ocean waters to promote interaction and trade. But blue economy is about conservation, it's about preservation, it's about protecting our coastal areas as well as the communities. The global trend in terms of global warming, climate change, ocean rising, you discover that our coastal areas are the most affected. and meaning that a lot of communities along our coastal areas will be eliminated or washed away if we don't take care of all those things. What about pollution? Pollution, both solid, liquid, and gas, are hugely present in the oceans. And that means if the whole world is not thinking of putting some containment efforts to mitigate, to abate all those problems, and they came up with the idea of blue economy. That is, let us look at innovative methods, approaches of tackling some of these ocean problems. That is what blue economy is all about. But I want us to ask ourselves, why do we really need it? Are these problems of pollution, abuse of resources in the ocean, has it not been there for a very long time? Why don't we just say now? We just have to react to it. So our own answer to this is just a phrase. You think globally and you act locally. The global thinking is about blue economy. So Nigeria cannot be left behind. You have to join the race. But in the attempt to join, you need to plan and strategize and take your steps one after the other. You don't have to run a race like other countries of the world have done because we are now interested in it. You have to be very, very strategic and very systematic. That's just it. But in the global context, the issue of blue economy goes beyond the ocean resources we are talking about. There are a lot of problems that the blue economy will have helped, will have supported in trying to resolve. For example, the global population is about 8.1 billion, and it is expected to reach about 10 billion in the year 2045 and 2050. The question is, where are these people going to stay? And if you look at Nigeria, for example, our population is even more higher than the global population growth rate. The case of Lagos is about 4.something%, while the global is about 2.1 or 2% per annum. So we are looking at a very rapidly growing population. And the question is, the more the population, the more equipment are available land resources. Meaning that if more lands are being encroached upon, where are the lands for agriculture? Where are the lands for? So we have problem of food crisis. And the blue economy is a strategy, it's an approach through which some of these global problems could be addressed. So that is why. Now, if you look at Nigeria, if you go to the eastern part of Nigeria, you will discover that virtually between 25 to 30% of their lands are gullies, washed away by erosion, affected by erosion, meaning that we have what we call badlands. And you see them migrating to every available city and town in Nigeria, just for them to run away from all those problems. But government cannot fold its hand, allow people to vacate without providing some containment efforts and strategies. So the blue economy is a very good strategy, and I want to welcome the idea that Nigeria is promoting blue economy.
But it's also, yes, you have actually highlighted major areas, really, as far as the blue economy is concerned. Areas, yes, as far as the blue economy is concerned. But we also know that it's a $1 trillion economy where nations can diversify.
But we'll get there when we talk about the benefits at the
benefits. Yes, let's talk about the benefits, really. I mean, because you started by telling us the problems and you scared.
That is why I made a pre-statement that is good that Nigeria is joining the trend of promoting blue economy. You see, with the blue economy, unemployment in Nigeria is very, very high. And youthful restiveness is equally high. And people are beginning to work disenfranchised. But the question is, majority of us are looking for jobs in the civil service and corporate world. And the corporate world when you say your vehicle is overheated, the corporate world are already overheated. The cost of production, the cost of running their something, so they could not easily absorb employment opportunities again. Then the technology is changing, and therefore, if you go to the banking world, their staff is being reduced constantly as a result of technological replacement. So we are looking at what can we now do to address some of these problems of unemployment. And the blue economy provides a veritable inroad towards containing some of these unemployment challenges in Nigeria. For example, you see, in the blue economy, fisheries, aquaculture, ecotourism have not been fully developed. We have fishing potentials in this country. The potentialities are huge, but it's just unfortunate that we have not taken the driving seat in trying to achieve success and better fulfillment in our fisheries industries. Foreigners are just coming, using more sophisticated technology methods to cut away our fishes. So if we have our own strategic policy and approach, which the blue economy is gradually evolving, we are definitely sure of getting something for a better tomorrow for our country.
All right, Prof, the other time you said we should think internationally, but localize.
Think locally.
You think locally, and we use the international system to do the local work on blue economy. Now, let's look at our oceans in Nigeria. Do you think we are managing them enough so that these oceans or the blue economy that we are trying to preach, we can bring in the resources that we have from the coastal lines, from the maritime sector, and use them to the benefit that we want to achieve with this blue economy policy?
You see, the ocean is not like our land. Most of the debris, most of the pollutants will come across the ocean. We don't necessarily have emanated from the littoral state that is next to that water body. You know, the ocean can move all these, especially plastics. Plastics is not only produced in Nigeria, it's a universal product. And if you go across the whole of West African sub-region, and you go to the coastal area, the first thing that comes to you are pure water nylon and plastics. So the issue is that if we refuse to join, and the other parts of the world they are cleaning up, we are at a loss. So we need to join, we need to think along with them, but we cannot say because they are applying sophisticated technology, which we don't have. So that's why I said we must start to develop our own approach through which we can address the issue of challenges of our coastal areas. So what about the seaweeds, for example? Seaweeds, I understand that the seaweeds can be converted or turned to fertilizer. To what extent have we validated this? Now, to what extent have we tried to our scientists to look into how they can convert it from the useful purpose to the Nigerian development? It is this process that employment will be generated, revenue will be generated, then we also be cleaning up our environment and making Nigeria tourism. One thing people don't understand is that our coastal area from Republic of Benin border in Badagry up to Republic of Cameroon border in Calabar side, it's a very lengthy area. But if you look at the way it has been bastardized in terms of pollution, in terms of waste, in terms of ocean washing away and so on, we can't continue. We are losing our land. That is why Lagos State took it upon themselves to address the garbage issue of being wiped away. I can tell you today that they've reclaimed close to 2 kilometers of the wiped away garbage, meaning that there is constant response to try to resolve this problem. The most expensive and largest IT project is in the Atlantic vision of Lagos State. So the blue economy must be embraced. But the process of embracing it, we have to do it with caution.
Okay.
Now, let's talk about the Ministry of Blue Economy and Marine, and of course blue economy. I'm sure because it's your area, really, area where you have devoted knowledge, study over the years. When the president announced that ministry, it must have actually piqued a lot of interest in you. Looking at the ministry, what the ministry has done since 2023 when it came on board till now, how much of ground really have we covered?
You see, where I see us as a country or people that is too much in a hurry. The Blue Economy Ministry is probably the youngest or one of the youngest ministries. It is less than 1 year or almost about 1 year. You can't compare it with some ministries that are over 60, 70, 80 years old. Those ones are established. The Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy was found out from the old Ministry of Transportation. By leaving Ministry of Transportation to cater predominantly for Nigerian Railways and institutional response in terms of training and something. Then we now have the Blue Economy, where the agencies of the Idaho Federal Ministry of Transport, like the MASA, Shippers Council, NPA, and probably NIWA, have now been excised from the old Ministry of Transportation. But my major worry is that you have disengaged, you have divorced, and it is the same people who are in the Ministry of Transportation that migrated. There is need for robust training, retraining, and reorientation for the people that were divorced to the marine and blue economy. Because the kind of mentality they are still holding is the mentality of the Ministry of Transportation. So if they are not continuously exposed to constant training and retraining, they may not know the extent to which whatever they are doing is impacting positively or negatively on the prospect of the marine and blue economy. That is the first thing we need to do. Then secondly, apart from that, we need a policy. And I want to tell you that I'm aware that the policy document has been prepared. I have read it and I've gone through it. I think it's only waiting for the endorsement and approval of the Federal Executive Council. But if you look at the policy document, I said blue economy is far greater than maritime transport. Meaning that the new policy has incorporated areas that were not fully covered or accommodated in the transport policy that is in place. So I think the government is making moves and in the right direction. But what we just need to do is that pray is that these efforts are not truncated.
Okay, Prof, let's go to the local people who use our coastal lines, especially in those riverine areas. What awareness do you think the government should give to them? Now we have the Maritime and Blue Economy Ministry. Do they have any job with them? Do they have to sensitize them on how to manage our coastal lines or manage the areas that they live in or work on? What is the awareness going to be like? What do they need a formal education on how to key into the policy of the government now and benefit the country?
Thank you for that question. Before the blue economy, what is happening in the whole of the Niger Delta? Pollution, oil pollution. Before the blue economy came on board, the entire rivers Delta state is bastardized with oil pollution. And this is predominantly by foreign institutions operating in all those areas. The effect of oil pollution have made a lot of people to move away from that area. But I want you to know that the new policy has imbibed some of these challenges which are to be looked into. But more importantly, they are saying about educating, enlightenment, and so on. Just we have discussed in some forum, that you cannot be planning for. You need to plan with. If you are planning for, you are telling the people in the riverine areas that they don't know what they want. So you sit down in Abuja, sit down in Lagos, sit down anywhere in the world, you are reasoning, you are planning for them. Definitely such agenda that you are setting up is already doomed on arrival. But if you plan with them, some of the propositions you are making, you want to give them, may not be their priority. It is when you engage them, which is to support what you have said, that they need to be trained, they need to have a lot of serious and robust stakeholding engagement with the communities and local people. You see that at times you see our rail track, no sooner they are put there, you see people going there to vandalize them. The people along those rail tracks were not carried along. They don't even know what is all there for. But when people come there to vandalize and say, oh, I don't know. But if they are carried along, they are part of the planning, the implementation, and all of the project. They will be the first one to protect and defend those infrastructure. That is why I believe that the government, especially the Marine and Blue Economy Ministry, must not be tired of engaging these people. Again, what about the industry? The industry has been balkanized now. Balkanized in the sense that all the people, the blue economy is acquiring now. They are all used to the Federal Ministry of Transport, procedure, processes, ideas. You are not telling them that you are not in Marine and Blue Economy. You also need to retrieve them. Or else they will still be bringing the idea of the old maritime, the old transport planning and so on to the new agenda. So at the end of the day, you have a conclusion that cannot work. So it's a very tall order and it's a marathon race. Like I told them in one of my presentations, that the Marine and Blue Economy is not a 100-meter dash. It's a marathon race. It's a very long, tall process. But you have to be strategic, you have to be moving forward. Because the blue economy, it has its own international leg. There are various laws regulations that are governing the maritime and the blue economy. For example, the United Nations organization, the United Nations, you call it UNCLOS, United Nations Convention for the Law of the Sea. All these are there. Now, when you look at the ocean we are talking about, there is what you call jurisdictional aspect of an ocean. And there's what we call the common heritage of mankind. The jurisdictional aspect of the ocean is where the